My name is Eila, and welcome to my TED Talk. Today I'll be talking about the development of streaming. More specifically, how the development of streaming services has impacted small independent artists. And when I say streaming services, I mean things like Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, music streaming services. Before I begin, I have a question for you. How many of you use your phone to listen to music? How many of you use Spotify? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, raise your hand if you would be okay with never using your phone, never using Spotify ever again to listen to music. See, it's very few, and this is the reality of most of the people in our world right now. 78% of people listen to music via streaming services. And it's understandable, because the fact that we have access to the world's music just in this little thing we keep in our pockets, anytime, anywhere, we can listen to pretty much anything, is amazing. It's revolutionary. But guess what? Streaming services don't pay the artists very well. They pay terribly, actually. Spotify pays artists between $0.003 and maybe if you get lucky, $0.004 per single stream, meaning you pick up your phone, you listen to a song, boom, the artist gets 0.3 of a cent. And it's sad, but it's true. I'm going to go off on a tangent now to just bring things into perspective. At the beginning of the year, I knew what I wanted to do for my senior project. I wanted to record my music, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I did. And now that I'm almost finished and it's publishable, I've had to start thinking, okay, what do I do with it? What am I going to do with this recording of my music that I have? And the answer is it has to go on somewhere relevant. If I want my family, my friends to be able to go listen to it, it has to be on Spotify, as contradicting as it is. So, okay, my music's out, it's on Spotify, and somehow all of the 20,000 people in Durango listened to it once. They went, they checked it out, maybe they skipped a couple of songs because that's how it is with their newly short attention span. So, it's out. All of Durango listens to it once. I'd be making $50. 20,000 people equal $50 nowadays. To go out to Seasons and treat myself to a burger, maybe. I don't think I could buy a drink. I don't think I could bring anyone with me. So how did we get here? How did we go from selling 2 to 3 CDs and making the same amount of money as reaching 20,000 people online? The answer is Napster, an illegal file-sharing website that was started in the late 90s. I mean, it kind of looks evil. Look at it. Kind of looks kind of smiling, but it looks kind of evil. And this started with people realizing they can pirate music. They can pirate music and put it up on the web and have other people listen to it for free. And that this was the greatest thing out there on the web in the 90s. It was music for free online. This was revolutionary. So what this did, it was just open the path for streaming services to develop. Because once people saw that they could listen to music for free or for very cheap, they didn't want to go buy a $20 CD. So what the industry had to do was please its consumer. And this is when iTunes came up, Spotify, all these new things that are a part of the world and most people can't live without. Nowadays, in the music industry, Spotify holds over 30% of the market share, meaning they're making about $4 billion a year. This gives streaming a great potential, especially because right now, streaming services together account for over 80% of all revenue generated by the music industry, meaning streaming services together are making over $13 billion in 1 year. This is a lot of money, but also maybe not. I don't know. Who knows anymore? So, streaming services, what makes them have such potential? What makes them so cool for the listener and the artist? Well, the answer is accessibility. They're quick, they're easy, and for the musician, a career as a musician, not a career, we'll get into that later. Being a musician, starting out as a musician, is so accessible nowadays. Just about anyone can record something and get started on their music career. What streaming services allow is a possibility to become independent. You don't need a label anymore to discover you and tell the world how great you are. In 2023, just about 69% of aspiring artists released a song professionally. So what streaming services do is that they open this gateway for artists to reach a global audience. They open the possibility to create a big audience, people you would never meet in your life. Look at me, for example. I'm releasing an EP for my senior project. I'm writing my music, and I'm not doing this for the fame and money, because it's not very realistic, but I'm doing this because I can, because I have this accessibility to bring my art and share it with the world. Here's a little sneak peek. So, labels are no longer a necessity for artists to start. They're no longer a necessity to become a known artist, which takes me to royalty payments. The other thing that comes with streaming services, it can be a good thing and a bad thing, but I'm going to talk about the good thing right now. Because now that artists can be out, this means streaming services have to pay them for their work. You own the music and people are listening to it, so you have the rights to it. This means they're paying you for it. And yes, sure, it might be 0.3 of a cent, but you're getting paid and you're not using the help of a label to get there. You're not having that third party take a percent of the already very small amount of money you're making. So, because having a record label is no longer an independent artist's first goal, this is what people said in a survey. Their first goal is to record and release an album. Their first goal is to get themselves out there. And this is because of the technology that we have right now. Just about anyone can record from home and release it and distribute themselves and sell themselves. And yes, streaming services create a path for musicians to make money on their own terms and sell themselves on their own terms. The downside of streaming services are, first, the fair pay. Like I talked about, streaming services are paying artists very little. Sure, almost 60% of aspiring musicians release a song professionally, yet only 18% of those 60% said that they're able to sustain themselves financially through music-related activities. And this is activities. This doesn't even mean it's royalty payments. Nowadays, musicians have to find other ways to make money. They have to sell concert tickets, merchandise, they have to give a workshop, private lessons, in order to sustain themselves. Which brings me to the second big issue with streaming services. Struggle for visibility. Because it is so accessible, there's more artists out there. And independent artists struggle to get seen, and they struggle to cut through all the noise on social media. As the music industry is shifting into a streaming and online networking, musicians have to compete with millions of other creators in order to get seen. 41% of artists said that the lack of exposure is one of the biggest roadblocks to a successful career in the music business. And one of the reasons why it is so hard to get seen is because of algorithms. Platforms like Spotify rely on algorithms to pick who and what gets played, and it is mostly the mainstream artists that get favored. They get more streams, they get put into personalized playlists, they get put in the recommended Spotify playlists, leaving small artists with no chance. This is where the role of social media comes in, and it's a big one, because it is a part of everyone's lives right now. And as an artist, as an independent artist, social media is not an option. For example, I was trying to get a gig the other week, and they were like, yes, sure, we'd love to listen to your music and have you on stage. Go fill out this form. And they asked for my name, for my band's name, for my Instagram, for my Facebook, for my website, how many followers I have, how many, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And as sad as it is, as hard as it is to be worrying about how many followers you have, how many likes you have, it's a reality. I mean, 84% of the songs that reached the Billboard's Global 200 last year went first viral on TikTok. Meaning it's those teenage girls making videos to their trendy songs that is getting you views, not only on your social media, but is making them go to your Spotify, giving you an audience. So, while streaming allows you to, or more gives you the potential to have that bigger audience, it is your social media that finds you that audience, that builds that fan engagement. So, yes, the likes, the follows, all this like terrible things that probably make people go into depression, they're kind of really, really key to a successful career as an artist, as a musician, as an independent artist. In a study, they found that increasing followers on Facebook and Twitter has a significant impact on artists' royalty income. I mean, a 10% increase in their followers equaled a 3.7% increase in their streaming royalties. So this is true. In the end, it is a concrete fan base that you build on social media that later translates into payments, into royalty payments, into real money, into people buying your concert tickets, into people wanting to come see you play or buy your t-shirt, your CD, even though nobody buys those anymore. So the reality of streaming services, the reality of independence, is more freedom comes with more responsibilities. These responsibilities are things like marketing, managing, distributing, advertising. These were once the label's job, and now are the artist's job if you're an independent artist. You have to be ready to take on these responsibilities if you want to be an independent artist. Artists have to be more than just musicians now, and this is a good thing. They can lower their budget and they can do professional work alone. But in order for streaming services to have a positive impact on independent artists, they have to be ready to use the technology to their advantage, and they have to be prepared to take on these new roles. And as for me, as a musician, I decided to research this, not to know how to make billions of dollars, but to educate myself and to know what I'm bringing myself out into. Thank you.
The call to action right there. All right. Thank you, Eila. Panel, we will move into questions and answers.